There's something deeply up with you.
Videos of girls dancing in a Manhattan townhouse, model castings, pornography of all kinds. These are just a few of the more than 2,000 videos released under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Plus, there are interviews where Epstein calls himself a Tier 1 sexual predator.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
We dug through hours of footage to find some of the creepiest but most telling clips. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, quick 180 before we jump into this. I know I talk about sponsors, but when I'm passionate about one, how can I not talk about it? Proof wallets, okay? I started hearing people saying, oh, this is the best wallet I've ever had, all that. Hype is real. First of all, you know what I love? Proof wallets, it is a veteran-owned company, and it's built by craftsmen who take pride in what they make. Look at the design. Look at that craftsmanship, but also super secure. Not only are they RFID blocking, they also hold up to 25 cards without feeling bulky or like anything is really going to slip out. Here's the best part. It's how they treat their customers. Did your wallet get damaged? Did it get stolen? If so, they will replace it for free. And you can even customize it with images and text and logos, anything you want. So go to go.carryproof.com/sidebar. Order yours today. Use code SIDEBAR for 20% off your entire order today. That is code SIDEBAR for 20% off. We talk so much about the Epstein files these past few weeks. The emails, the case summaries, the reports, the photos, unfortunately. What about the videos? What about the tapes? What about the Epstein tapes? From a legal point of view, I will tell you sometimes I can't think of a more compelling piece of evidence to show a jury than videos, because videos, they capture something that no other piece of evidence can. Movements, actions, time, behavior. And here, again, I'll throw in the unfortunately, there are tapes in the Epstein files release that we got to talk about. We are referring to more than 2,000 videos with hours of footage, all a part of the Department of Justice's release of materials through the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And this includes the tapes of Jeffrey Epstein himself, which are particularly strange because we never really hear this guy speak before, let alone in this way. And remember, he's the man at the center of all this, and we'll get to that. But I do want to preface this by saying that much of the footage is redacted, and we don't know the ages or the identities of the women and the girls that have been covered by black boxes, so I'll be just calling them females since, again, we don't know how old they are. Now, I do want to talk about arguably some of the most uncomfortable clips first, okay? Some of the footage included in the release is pretty innocuous. Someone playing with a small dog, what looks like a promotional piece for Little St. James Island, often called Epstein's Island, which he owned. Now, I say innocuous, we know what was happening on that island was allegedly not innocent. Multiple victims have come forward to say that they were assaulted and abused on that island. That island is also the centerpiece for many potential scandals, with people questioning whether some of the world's wealthiest and most powerful people visited it. If there's a claim that you visited that island, it's as toxic as it gets. Now, some of the clips, although they're redacted, obviously pornography sites. It's unclear how many of the clips were from legitimate online porn sites and how many were created by Epstein's victims at his behest, but several of the porn videos have website watermarks at the bottom referencing teens, unfortunately. But other videos are just strange. For example, you got this selfie video of Epstein making weird and unsettling faces into the camera. There's another that shows him standing up on a countertop in a large kitchen and then getting down and literally chasing a female around the room. Again, I don't know how old this person is. There's also footage of him dancing with someone in what appears to be a hallway. You know what? Actually, there are lots of dancing videos, with several apparently filmed in Epstein's office at his home in New York City. And I just gotta say this, how creepy is this one? In one of the videos, you can clearly see a paternity test, this kit sitting on Epstein's desk. Some of the footage is especially unsettling because while we don't know the age of the females in the video, there are also stuffed animals visible in the frame. For example, this selfie video of someone holding a Cookie Monster doll, and another, which we can assume based on the context contains pornographic material, shows a teddy bear in the background. And there's even a video of someone playing with a young child, handing them various toys and stuffed animals. We don't know who this child is, where this video was taken, the connection to Epstein, but obviously really concerning. And remember, before he died, he was facing federal sex trafficking of minors charges. There's also around 14 hours of footage in all, and much of it is made up of short snippets of video. There's almost zero context provided for where the videos came from, who they show, why Epstein might have kept them, whether or not they were going to be pivotal in his criminal trial. I'll tell you this, there's a clip of someone filming a woman receiving a massage, and pretty disturbing when you consider that Epstein and his partner Ghislaine Maxwell, they were accused of luring teen girls to his home with the promise of money in exchange for a massage. That was the grooming tactic, right? That's what led to the abuse. That's what led to the escalation. There's footage of someone taking a bubble bath. There's dozens of videos apparently sent from women and girls to Epstein showing them in various states of undress. And there are videos that are apparently sent to Epstein or his staff.
Getting all the flavors of all the jellies. We already got 4 bags, but she thought it wouldn't be enough, so she's getting some more. She's very serious about it. How many jelly beans did we get? And then it's just a little part of what we've got.
And it seems glaringly obvious in some of the files that these females are pretty young. In another creepy section of the files, we can see a kind of grainy black and white image of an office, which appears to have been taken from a security camera of some kind. And you know, there have been a lot of differing information about surveillance in Epstein's homes. You have photos that were taken inside his Manhattan townhouse by law enforcement after his 2019 arrest that show at least 2 cameras near the ceiling, so one in a bedroom and one in a hallway, as well as some sort of base of operations. And there's a sign on the door that says 24-hour video surveillance. Now, the thing about that is, in these files, in this Epstein release, there was a 2014 email sent by Epstein that says, "Let's get 3 motion-detected hidden cameras that record. Thanks." And there's long been speculation that Epstein was filming basically everything all the time in order to use the videos to blackmail the world's elite. That was a common allegation, a common theory, but in an email included in the files, there was an agent who sent the following to then FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, and it says, quote, "During the searches of Epstein's New York residence and USVI residence in 2019, the FBI searched for videos and surveillance cameras. My understanding from the case agent is that there were no cameras found inside any bedrooms or living areas of either residence. I understand that surveillance cameras were located near the entrances of the residences." So if that's true, okay, that's strange, but also, did something change? I don't know. You know, is it always the case that there wasn't something there, or why they couldn't find it? I don't know. It's just interesting to say the least. But next, I mentioned hearing from Epstein himself, right? So a big part of this is a long interview that was conducted by Steve Bannon, former White House chief strategist. And according to the files, there was this idea, seemingly, to try to rehabilitate Epstein's image by producing a documentary about him. It's unclear why Bannon would have wanted to do this, but remember, this is after Epstein pleaded guilty to Florida state charges of solicitation of prostitution of a minor. And I mean, the files, they show a lot of communication between the two, texts, emails, several photos of the two of them together, really looking at that 2018-2019 timeframe. I mean, I'll give you an idea. Epstein said in one message to Bannon, "I don't like texting," to which Bannon replied, "Got it." February 2019, before Epstein was federally indicted, Epstein wrote to Bannon, "Do you think I can do my own video interview and upload it on YouTube?" Woody said he would help edit, not sure how to stage, what points to make, but better than trying to do an interview that I have no experience doing. Goal to humanize the monster. I will note here it's believed he's talking about Woody Allen, and the text that Epstein sent to Bannon just before this exchange reads, "Dinner with Woody or too many pedos in one place?" Yikes, to say the least. And Bannon, by the way, also laid out this plan. Quote, "First, we need to push back on the lies, then crush the pedo trafficking narrative, then rebuild your image as philanthropist." To be clear, Bannon hasn't been accused of a crime. He's been very vocal about wanting the files to be made public. And even though the documentary was never produced, we have this footage, okay? You get this footage where Bannon is interviewing Epstein. It kind of gives you a window into this guy that you never saw before because, again, we don't really have that much of him even speaking. But take a look.
How did a schmuck like you get on the board of Rockefeller? What year was that?
I don't remember. Late, I think 89 and 91.
So that's one of the most prestigious research places in the world, correct?
Yes.
Okay, how did a guy like you get on the board of a blue blood, internationally known, hard research, Nobel Prize winners all over the place? How do they pick a guy like you, a trader from, or basically some guy from Bear Stearns?
Good question. So I was asked to be on the board of Rockefeller.
Yeah, the interview primarily focuses on Epstein's reputation as this apparent financial genius, someone who was practically clairvoyant when it came to markets around the world. And to give you kind of context here, when Epstein was arrested for soliciting a minor for prostitution out in Palm Beach in Florida, this is, again, he made that deal in 2008. The United States was dealing with a huge financial crisis at the time, remember? And so when Bannon asked Epstein about his knowledge of what was happening behind the scenes at some of the country's largest investment firms, Epstein also talked about his time behind bars.
How did you hear about what was going to happen to Lehman Brothers, and what did you immediately think when you heard they was going to be put into bankruptcy?
I'm glad you asked that question. I was in solitary confinement September 14th. And again, some of the public stories about the wonderful time I had in jail and my work release, which didn't come till months after. I'd been there since June, in an 8x10 cell with a bed in the back, a 6-foot bed in the back, a chrome sink with a toilet attached to it, and a little piece of metal sticking out that was supposed to act as a table. Now, since I was in jail, there were no books. Why? There's no library. No library, but you're in jail. No, I was in jail, not prison. So in jail, I was in a place which is called the Special Housing Unit, which is for the roughest, toughest, meanest people. They had put me there, they said, for my own protection. So I was in a 8x10 cell with a little slit in the door where they would serve my food on a tray about 9 inches by 4 inches. And then as soon as I finished eating, they would take the tray and close it down. And one of the guards said, do you understand there's Wall Street's crashing. I'm worried about my pension fund. What should I do? And I said, sorry, Wall Street's crashing? What's happened? And he said, there's some crisis and some companies are going bankrupt. I said, are you sure? And he said, yeah, it's all over the papers. We're all terrified we're going to lose our life savings because we have either a 401k or our pension funds. We don't know anything about money. Mr. Epstein, can you tell us, like, what's going on? Am I going to be able to afford my children's education? Am I going to be bankrupt like this company called Lehman Brothers? And there's another company in the front page today called Bear Stearns. Oh, no, I said. Why? Because that's the company I was a partner in. And in fact, that was a company I had a very large investment in. So, as a great story, I didn't have my Wall Street Journal, but in the early mornings, you're allowed to make 2 phone calls, collect. And when you pick up the phone, you can dial a number, and when the person picks up, they say, you're getting a call from the Palm Beach County Jail. Will you accept reverse charges? And the person either says yes, and the call goes through, or the person says no. The person I had called was Jimmy Kane, the president of Bear Stearns. And I said, tell me what's going on. And so that my knowledge of the financial crisis happened with Jimmy, who was at the center of the storm, telling me about what Lehman had gone under, and they were trying to figure out a way, should they bail out Bear Stearns? The question you want to ask is, who was the other call to?
Okay. Who was the other call to?
The other call was to my friend at J.P. Morgan, who was then, I didn't know it at the time, trying to buy Bear Stearns. So at one point, I had 2 phones. It was difficult because they're afraid people are going to hang themselves with the phone cord. So they don't actually come together and they're pretty short. So I was actually going between 2 phones talking to Bear Stearns and J.P. Morgan at the same time. So I found it amusing.
And it never struck you about how to end up in a situation like this?
No, that would be probably means I would be too self-aware.
You can't possibly expect me to believe this.
I know. I don't believe it.
It's no, you're telling me that during that day, you never had a moment. You sat there and go, what the have I done with my life that I'm in a 6x9 jail cell when I should be on a trading desk, or I should be in my $250 million greatest townhouse in New York City, taking calls from the king of Saudi Arabia, the president of China, the head of Russia, the president of the United States to save the world's population from a financial debacle. You honestly expect me to believe that that never happened?
You're suggesting I was somewhat depressed, and how could this happen to me?
I'm not saying depressed. I'm saying a moment of awareness of how could I get myself into this situation.
No, I would just say how strange that this happens. It's strange. I'm wearing a jumpsuit and flip-flops.
What color was the jumpsuit?
Brown.
Brown jumpsuit.
Yes.
I notice I don't see you in a lot of brown.
No.
Brown jumpsuit and flip-flops.
Flip-flops, yes.
With no access to books, no access to newspapers,
no access to anything.
You had lived on information.
Except my Almond Joy bars. I had extra Almond Joy bars.
Did you eat Almond Joy bars and things like that because you're afraid of what the cooks did to your food?
Yes.
Is that because of that you were in for the crimes that you were in for?
No, it was just in fact I was.
Is it because you're wealthy?
Yes.
How did you know that?
Well, people would constantly come if I was passing by or have to go for my medical. People would either ask to borrow money or make some other types of comments about. In the beginning,
what were the comments? At the beginning, what were the comments?
It serves you rich guys right that you're here next to me.
There was nothing about your crimes.
No.
So all this rumor you hear all the time about people in prison that commit the type of crimes you commit, you're saying in your personal thing is not true.
No.
It was all because you were rich.
Yes.
And it was all because they wanted to borrow money.
Or get advice. Yes.
Where they get advice to go long.
Yes.
You're telling me
is this time to buy?
You're telling me in solitary confinement they're interested in going long.
Yeah. They want to know what
does that say
stocks.
about human nature?
Well, what I think the people find, one of the reasons they wanted to keep me in solitary confinement was they're afraid that everybody would want to know which stocks to buy.
Yeah, that's right. Epstein claims that those guards were asking him for financial advice. Now, at one point during the interview, Epstein apparently took a break to freshen up his wardrobe.
When did you first start to get nervous, understanding Bill Clinton in all this? Did you change glasses?
Yes.
Okay.
I changed shirt.
I saw that black.
Are you okay with it?
Yeah, great. I think we're going to have all kinds of changes.
I'm experimenting. Yeah.
Okay. When did you get a feeling? Did you ever anticipate, before it happened, something like 2008 could happen?
No.
Bannon keeps coming back to the fact that Epstein, for all of his apparent knowledge of how the world works, he ended up in prison. Although I will say that his attorneys worked out what's been called that sweetheart deal with the then U.S. attorney in Miami, Alexander Acosta, which ended with Epstein avoiding serious federal charges, getting kind of a light sentence for the state charges. And throughout the interview, Bannon seems to kind of needle Epstein, referring to things like the Me Too movement and asking at one point, this was big, whether Epstein is the devil himself.
When you say ownership in the system, it doesn't mean.
Let's start over.
Okay.
Yeah. So flip over your phone too, because
Yes.
I don't want anyone to see
Yes.
on your phone. So maybe flip it down or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows what the comes up on that phone?
That's correct.
We don't want to send you.
KSA.
I can't not believe I've got the magic moment when you're in prison or jail, wherever the it is.
It's
in
crazy.
solitary.
Now, there's a funny part to that we missed, which is said.
Go ahead, tell it.
The funny part is just what you asked me.
Is there anything funnier than that?
No.
For black humor,
I don't make any black comments. Sorry. You asked me what I was wearing.
That's right. You're too wrapped up in the Me Too movement.
Yes.
I just asked a question. Is your money dirty money?
No, it's not. So, in fact.
Why is it not dirty money?
Because I earned it. A heart.
But you earned it.
I earned it legally.
We went back to this before. You earned
Yes.
it. You earned it advising the worst people in the world, right? That do enormous bad things, and just to make more money.
So, instead of asking me the question, should you take the money? Because I think it's a legitimate question.
You think it's a legitimate question?
Yes, no
Why?
question. Because I think about, ethics is always a complicated subject, but I can tell you that with the money I gave to help try to eradicate polio in Pakistan and India, instead of asking me whether that money should be given to these children for vaccines, I think you might want to ask their mothers who received the vaccine, who know their child now won't get polio, and ask them if Epstein should have helped these people.
If we
with
walked
their
in,
money.
if we walked in, you're a
that a fair
mathematician.
question?
You're a mathematician. If we walked into that clinic where they're giving that money out to these people that are in the most dire straits of poverty and sickness, and told them that the money was coming from a, what are you, class 3 sexual predator?
Tier 1.
Was tier 1's the highest and worst?
No, I'm the lowest. I'm the lowest.
You're the
yes.
lowest. Okay, tier 1, you're the lowest. But a criminal.
Yes.
That the money came from them. What percentage of people do you estimate? I understand you don't like probabilities. Do you estimate would say, I don't care, I want the money for my children?
I would say everyone said, I want the money for my children.
Did they know where the money came from?
I think if you told them, if I told them the devil,
100%.
the devil himself said, I'm going to exchange some dollars for your child's life.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question.
Sorry.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you have all the attributes. You're incredibly smart. You remember the devil is somebody
the devil
knows
smart?
The devil's brilliant. You read Milton's Paradise Lost.
No, the devil scares me.
Satan is at the number 1 or 2 archangel, and the reason he goes to hell and leads the rebellion is because he can't be the top guy. And his thing is, I'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven.
I saw that in a movie once called American Dharma. I don't remember who said it. Okay, we have to go.
Okay, good.
Okay.
That was good.
Now, there's one more thing that I want to talk about before we wrap things up here. And included in the release were portions of a Ghislaine Maxwell deposition, as well as footage of apparent victims being interviewed by Palm Beach police detectives back in the early 2000s. Now, it's unclear if these clips were in Epstein's possession for some reason or if they were just connected to the investigation, were they investigatory materials that the DOJ had. So, it's unclear. And by the way, it's also unclear why only parts of Maxwell's deposition were released. And by that way, that was a deposition that she did with regards to a lawsuit that renowned Epstein accuser, Maxwell accuser, Virginia Jeffrey had filed. So that's why you see this deposition in 2016. Now, back to those police interviews. We actually talked about these interviews here on Sidebar before. We did an episode on it. This is when multiple alleged victims told investigators about the promise of money if they came to Epstein's sprawling home, gave him a massage. Take a listen.
She told me about this guy I was short on rent 1 month, and she told me that all I had to do was give him a massage and he would give me $200. And that's pretty much it. And I thought about it. I was like, I really need the money. I'd asked my parents, they can't give me the money. I asked everyone I knew, and I went there with her. I gave him a massage, and it was a weird situation.
Have you had any formal massage training?
No.
Did you provide the massage with clothing on?
All I had was underwear on.
Okay. Did she tell you that you would have to provide the massage with just underwear?
No.
Did anything else happen?
I'm sorry, I don't like thinking back on Zeus, so...
Okay, first of all, I know this is hard on you, okay? I know that you put this behind you.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I've talked to have, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're not the only person that he's done this to.
Okay. And he just got up and walked out. He's like, okay, you can put your clothes on, and he closed the door.
And you were paid how much?
$200. He asked me for my phone number just in case he wanted to call me and come back, and they called me, and I never called them back.
But in stark contrast, when Ghislaine Maxwell was deposed in April of 2016 pursuant to this lawsuit, she kind of feigned surprise that any such accusations were being made.
Can you list for me all the girls that you have met and brought to Jeffrey Epstein's house that were under the age of 18?
Check the form and foundation.
I could only recall my family members that were there, and I could not make a list of anyone else because that never happened. But I can take off.
I'm talking about during the time that you were working for Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
Can you list all the girls that you found for Jeffrey Epstein that were under the age of 18 to come work for him in any capacity?
Check the form and foundation.
So I didn't find the girls. I didn't
You
look
have
for
them.
them.
You choose the word.
Well, no, you don't choose the word. If you have a question, ask it.
List all of the girls that you met and brought to Jeffrey Epstein's home for the purposes of employment that were under the age of 18.
Objective Foreman Foundation.
I've already characterized what my job was, which was to find people, adults, professional people, to do the types of jobs that I listed before. Pool person, secretary, house person, chef, pilot,
But I'm asking
architect.
about individuals under the age of 18, not adult persons, individuals under the age of 18.
I only hired, looked for people, tried to find people to fill professional jobs in professional situations.
Under the age of 18, correct?
I think we've established was 17 and
Is she
a
the
masseuse.
only, I'm sorry, go ahead. Is she the only individual that you met for purposes of hiring someone for Jeffrey that was under the age of 18?
Objective Foreman Foundation mischaracterizes their testimony.
So I didn't hire people. I met
I didn't use the
people.
word hire. I said
Yes, you did.
I said met.
Yes. So I interviewed people for jobs that were professional people for professional things, and I'm not aware of anyone aside from who clearly was a masseuse aged 17, but that's, at least that's how far we know that I can think of that fulfilled any professional capacity for Jeffrey.
List all the people under the age of 18 that you interacted with at any of Jeffrey's properties.
I'm not aware of anybody that I interacted with, other than I was 17 at this point. I had not any idea exactly of the youngest adult employee that I hired for Jeffrey.
When you say adult employee, did you ever hire someone that was under the age of 18?
Never.
Did you ever bring someone who was under, or invite someone who was under the age of 18 to his home, any of his homes?
Objective Foreman Foundation.
You can answer.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Did you ever invite anybody under the age of 18 to Jeffrey's homes?
Same objection.
I have a number of friends that have children, and friends of mine who have kids, and in the invitation of my friends and their kids, I'm sure that I will have invited some of my friends' kids to come, if that's what you're referring to.
No, anybody that is not a friend of yours, any female under the age of 18, did you invite them to come to Jeffrey's home?
Objective Foreman Foundation.
Again, as I said, I'm not aware of having invited anybody other than friends of mine who have children to the house.
Did you invite to come to Jeffrey Epstein's home when she was under the age of 18?
Maxwell, when did you...
Objective Foreman Foundation.
You can answer.
I have no idea when I met her.
Do you know how old she was when you met her?
I have no idea how old she was when I met her.
Is it possible that she was 13 years old when you first met her?
Objective Foreman Foundation.
First of all, the mother is Jeffrey's friend, and his mother was Jeffrey's friend, so may have been in the house. When she was in the house, I have no idea how old she was. She was with her mother.
I understand that she was with her mother. I'm asking you if she was 13 years old when you first met her.
I have no idea how old she was when...
Was she under 18 when you first met her?
I have no idea how old she was when she was in the house.
Did she...
Who were the other 17-year-old masseuses they were aware of?
I'm not aware of any.
Were there any 16-year-old masseuses you were aware of?
I'm not aware.
Any 15?
Look, I just want to be clear. The only person that I'm aware of who claims to have been, and we have to, whilst I've established that now is 17, given that she has changed her age so many times, the only person that I'm aware of that was a masseuse at the time when I was present in the house.
Maxwell, of course, would go to trial and be convicted of sex trafficking and sentenced to 20 years in prison. So there you go. Some videos to keep in mind as we're still trying to process everything that is coming out of this Epstein Files release. That's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you should get your podcasts. You can also check us out on NBC's Peacock. We got Sidebar episodes up there as well. If you want to follow me, X, Instagram, my News Nation show, Jesse Weber Live, Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern. Hope you can check it out. I'll see you next time, everybody.